posting my Instagram.
Mm,
So, yeah. Oh, what do you know? It's a live stream.
indeed.
I don't know if there's anybody around or not, but if there are, welcome one, welcome all, welcome to the March live stream. We are marching straight into the springtime or the summertime, depending on your point of view. April showers bring May flowers, and what do May flowers bring? Uh, just a bunch of rain. Pilgrims? I was kidding. So, yeah. Let's see. Welcome, Mary. Welcome from Las Vegas. We're out here in Maine with our stuff. Hopefully, you can hear us. If you can hear us, let us know. Otherwise, there are that would be a bad thing.
I don't think I've said anything yet, so here, I actually am here, in case you're wondering where I am.
Well, I will see if let me actually check the sound here because for some reason it's like the audio stream is currently 0 bits.
Well,
So,
the text is showing up on my screen,
oh,
so
is
it's
it?
doing something.
Okay. Yeah, well, if that's the case. Oh, yeah, I hear it. So, yep. Okay. Loud and clear. Excellent. Well then, excellent. Welcome Tuesday. We're happy to have you here with us. We got a lot of great stories for you, and we hope that you enjoy them. Why don't we? Amber wanted to know what's the question that we're going to make today. Amber was watching another live stream before this,
Yes,
so
there's a YouTuber I follow, and her book launch was today, and she usually has like a 1 hour live stream at like 4, but then it became a 2 hour one. It's actually
uh,
was still wasn't finished, but I had to hop for this. So there were some giveaways and stuff. So then she's like, "You gotta hang around until the end to see if you won." I did not win, but yeah.
Amber should have won.
No, I mean it was random. You just had to put it in the hashtag, and she spun a wheel. And
Oh, I see. I see. So what's your favorite part of spring? The flowers, the
butterflies,
butterflies, uh,
warmth.
the warmth, or other.
Yeah.
So that's the thing we're doing real quick, and there we go. So we'll start the poll and then jump straight into the stories. I know that we've had like a 30-second to like a minute intro here, but yeah, that's how we roll here. Speaking of how we roll, let's actually go to the first story. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Delaying Proposals Because My Girlfriend Was Snooping for Her Ring? So I'm a 24-year-old male, and I had been in a serious relationship with my girlfriend for 7 years now. And we've been living together for 3 years, and we discussed getting engaged and doing a long engagement. No longer than 3 years. Well, I purchased an engagement ring a few months ago and had trusted my best friend to hide the box at his house until I had the whole proposal thing set up. Well, his wife found it and at first thought that it was an anniversary ring. Their anniversary wasn't coming up anytime soon. So he gave me the ring and apologized because his wife tried it on. Well, apparently his wife can't keep a secret because, sure enough, after I get the ring back, my girlfriend is asking questions about us getting married. I did my best to dodge them. She got all sad and said that I shouldn't be so disinterested with the idea. She even talked about her dream engagement ring, which based off her description isn't even close to the one that I picked up. Well, Monday, I returned home from work and she is panicking and trying to hide from me. I'm concerned and asked her why I had gotten locked out of the bedroom. She called out and said that everything was fine and that she'll unlock it in a minute. I asked her what that was all about, and she admitted that she went looking for the ring. Well, she kept trying to say that it was all my friend's fault for telling her that she was just curious about if I knew what she wanted or if I got her something beautiful. I wasn't happy that she went searching instead of trusting me to get the ring that she would love. I told her that I felt a little betrayed by her snooping behavior. I also said not to expect me to propose anytime soon. She said that it wasn't right for me to punish her over something that was so trivial, that I was being unfair to her, and continuing to wait is just leading her on in the relationship. I don't believe that's true, since we did agree to have a long engagement. If I do propose, years from now, the engagement can be short. I don't care about the time. Am I the jerk for thinking her behavior was disgusting? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, I'm gonna say you're in the wrong here. It sounds like you are dragging this out indefinitely. I mean, how long had they been together at this point in time?
7 years.
7 years. And so it sounds like she is just really excited for a proposal, and OP is just continuing to like hold that over her head.
Yeah.
I understand being a little annoyed about the snooping, but that's like a conversation you can have about it without being like, well, now I'm going to reset the clock and we're going to push it out even farther.
Yeah. It's like how you punish kids for snooping for their Christmas presents. You're like, I'm going to return them now. Now you're going to not be able to collect your, engagement ring. You should have been patient, or type of thing, right? Like, she's been patient. She's waited 7 years for this. How can you be like, well, you should have just been more patient. Wait 10 years for me to propose to you.
Well, and like, not to mention that, like, the friend's girlfriend has just like been like, oh yeah, I tried on your engagement ring.
Oh yeah, and then on top of that, yeah, that, like, I'm sure she's just like, oh, going out of her mind.
Everyone else has seen this except for her.
And she's like, why can't I see my own engagement ring?
And like, he's like, why couldn't she trust? It's the opposite of what she wants. Why can't she trust that I would get her a ring she
I know,
likes?
that's right there too. he's like, it's the opposite, but she should just trust me that to get something that she likes. You've been with her for 7 years and you still can't pick out a piece of jewelry that you think would be her dream wedding ring. There's a lot going on here. I feel bad for this poor girl.
Mm-hmm.
But what do the comments have to say?
So Mary says, you're the jerk. It's been 7 freaking years. Hopefully girlfriend has the wherewithal to leave and start looking.
She might have to.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is very much like leading her on. Like she says, it feels like she's being led on, and it does. It seems like it never ends.
Yeah, there's always going to be some other hurdle for her to, topple to get this proposal. And Walter, you say, what did you miss? You just missed an infuriating story about an engagement ring. But fortunately, we also have another infuriating story about an engagement ring. Am I the jerk for telling... 2 for the price
of 1 today.
What's that?
I said 2 for the price of 1 today.
Yeah, 2 for the price of the 1. Am I the jerk for telling my boyfriend don't when I saw him reaching for a ring box? Well, my boyfriend, a 34-year-old male, and I, a 32-year-old female, have been together for 3 years. We live together, I love him, but we have never seriously discussed marriage. Every time I bring it up, he says, we'll get there, and changes the subject. I don't even know if he wants kids. We haven't had big conversations. Last night, we were having a nice dinner at home. He was acting weird, nervous. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Before he could open, I said, don't. He looked confused, and I said, please don't ask me that right now. He put away the box. We ate in silence. He went to bed early. This morning, he told me that I humiliated him. He said that he's been planning this for months. He said that I should have just let him do it and said yes, then talked later. I said that I wasn't going to pretend to be excited about a proposal when we haven't even discussed if we want the same things in life. He said that I ruined the moment forever. I said that the moment was built on avoiding real conversations. Am I the jerk for stopping a proposal that I wasn't ready for? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. I mean, when you agree to marry someone, you are agreeing to a shared life. And like OP said, she doesn't even know if this guy wants kids or not. Like, there are some things you really should be on the same page about before you're thinking about marriage. The fact that he refuses to have an adult conversation about what married life would actually look like, it feels like he's not really thinking about the future in a pragmatic way like OP is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that OP wants a partner that they can trust is going to be on the same page as them, and they don't feel that they have that in this current partner right now. I mean, 3 years is a long time to go without having like any kind of conversation about, do you want kids? When do you want to buy a house? What kind of jobs do you folks want?
Right.
All these kinds of big conversations. How do you want to save money? How do you, blah, 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 right?
Right. It seems like he's just kind of like living in a land where those are things to save for another day when, no, you need to figure it all out way before you get married.
Yeah. And welcome Marcia as well. So yeah, I think I said welcome Malter, or I just said what did you miss? So welcome Malter. I don't think I actually officially greeted you. So what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, not the jerk. OP is the only adult in this relationship.
Yeah. And oh well, have fun with your company, Marsha. Hopefully you have a good time with them. Speaking of having a good time, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my brother that he can't bring his dog to my apartment anymore after one incident? Oh, and it looks like Walter just said, Not the jerk, poorly planned at best and underhanded at worst. Yeah. I'm a 29-year-old female and I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment and I have two cats, Misso and Fig, both rescues and both are pretty anxious by nature. My brother Dan, a 34-year-old male, has a Labrador named Biscuit who is genuinely a sweet dog. I want to be clear about that. But he is very large, he's loud, and he has a lot of energy. Every time Dan has brought him over in the past, I've made it work by keeping the cats in the bedroom, which they hate but is manageable. Well, 2 months ago, Dan asked if he could come over, and I said yes, assuming that Biscuit wasn't coming because we hadn't talked about it. He shows up with a dog, and before I could even get the cats into the bedroom, Biscuit had cornered Fig behind the couch and was barking directly at her face. Fig has not been the same since. She stopped eating normally for almost 2 weeks and startled at everything. She hid constantly. The vet said that she was showing signs of stress, and we've been slowly getting her back to her baseline. I told Dan that Biscuit can't come over to my place anymore, not forever. I said, just until Fig is doing better, and even then, we'd have to do it very slow and careful introduction. He thinks that I'm being dramatic, and that it's one bark, and that dogs and cats work these things out. He's annoyed with me and mentioned it to our parents, who are now involved, which I did not ask for. My mom thinks that I should just get the cats used to dogs, as if that's the thing that you can demand of an anxious rescue animal on a timeline. Am I the jerk for holding this boundary even though it's causing family drama? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. Your parents need to butt out of this. This has nothing to do with them. And why is no one except for OP considering the cat's needs and all of this?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
animals have emotions and animals experience trauma. This cat was so traumatized that she wasn't eating normally for 2 weeks. That is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you need to do is bring this, you know, barking aggressive dog right into her face again. Like, oh, well, she'll just get over it. Like, as we've learned with humans and trauma, forcing someone into a traumatic situation over and over and over again, like, does not actually make them better. They may shut down. They may not externally show, as many trauma responses over time, but it doesn't mean they're actually healed.
Yeah.
You know, learning to like repress trauma responses is not healing. And the same thing for animals. You can't just be like, okay, now I'm just going to keep throwing you in this scary situation until you stop responding. That's not helpful.
Well, and then I also want to point out that this was the cat's home. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be their safe place where they're not in danger or anything like that. And now there's a predator to them, what it
Mm-hmm.
looks like, who is there trying to eat them. And
Mm-hmm.
so now, of course, they're going to be nervous about that because now this place that was supposed to be like a safe haven turns out not to be as safe as they thought. And so I can understand why the cat would be, easily startled at this point in time because they don't know when the next time the dog is going to appear, right? And so I think that's the thing is like if this had been out in the wild and that they weren't expecting ever to be in a safe environment, that's one thing, right? But the fact that they thought that they were safe and suddenly they aren't, I mean, that can be really hard for
Mm-hmm.
animals. What do the comments have to say?
Mulder says, not the jerk, protect the kitties. And
Mm-hmm.
then Mary says, not the jerk. We had the exact same situation, though sadly our kitty never recovered.
Oh, the poor cat. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for expecting me to help demolish? My coworker expects me to demolish and rebuild his garage in exchange for pizza and beer. Will I be the jerk if I told them to F off? What do you folks think about that title? I think the title pretty much just says it all, but we'll read over this real quick. We build houses, garages, barns, and sometimes mansions together. We get along for the most part and have hung out multiple times, but we've also gotten into it at work multiple times. I also work a second job and have a family and rarely have any free time. Even without that, I would never ask anyone to help me with all that work in exchange for pizza and beer. He also comes from an extremely wealthy family, and I suspect that he thinks that's why he's entitled to my help or has something to do with it. I nearly laughed in his face until I realized that he was serious. What do I say to him? Or am I wrong for being selfish? We have worked together for about 3 years, and he has lended me a tool once or twice. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, that is a lot of labor for pizza and beer.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not willing to pay you a fair price for your labor, then you don't have to do it. Even with like family and stuff like that, sometimes we see these stories like this and it's like, close relationships. You still deserve to be fairly compensated for your labor, whether it's an exchange of services or actual cash. But this isn't even someone you're close to. This is your coworker. Like, yeah, you work with them, you do a lot of work together, but that is hugely entitled to expect you to do all this work and then just buy you a box of pizza and be like, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a fair compensation, and if they were both actively engaged in like trading skill and trading labor and stuff like that, and this was just kind of a normal Tuesday, I would think that that would be perfectly fine. But the fact of the matter is that that's a lot of work to do for a cheese pizza and some beer, right? Like that's the what you do when someone helps you move, like from one house to another house, right? Oh, here, have some beer and pizza.
And usually those are people you're very close to
Yeah.
too. When there's like a trade off in that, like when they move, then you do the same thing.
Hmm.
Like there's a reciprocal relationship that there isn't here with OP.
Yeah. And Opie also says that they think that this is basically like the guy being like, I'm better than you anyway, so you should just give me your time because I said so. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, "Not the jerk. What does OP say to him? How about no? OP should counter with an hourly rate." And then Malta says, "Not the jerk. Pizza and beer is more of a friend helping you move price."
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? I am a 35-year-old female. I'm having my husband, 39-year-old male, stand his ground on not excluding me from his congratulatory dinner with his parents. My husband is a 39-year-old male and I'm a 35-year-old female, and we've been together since I was 19 and he was 23. We've been married for 6 years and we don't have kids. Recently, he got a huge promotion at work, which I'm beyond proud of him for. He worked super hard for it over the past 2 years. I was his biggest support system, taking on all the extra household duties and the other labors so that he could focus solely on his career. We agreed on this split, and I sacrificed date nights with him, time with him, and basically put his goals first to help make this happen. Well, we're each other's biggest support system, and I stood by him in the early days of his career when we were both making peanuts. His mom, a 65-year-old female, wants to treat him to a nice dinner with my father-in-law, a 65-year-old male, to celebrate his promotion, and I'm not invited. Like I am his wife, the person who's been at his side through this all with him, and I'm excluded. I feel like big life changes and accomplishments are a team effort, and without my support and our agreement to make this happen, it would have been a lot harder for him to get to this promotion. We are also each other's only relationship, and I've been with him for years since before he started his career, when he was making peanuts, as I was as well, because we were both young. And I stood by him unequivocally, supported him as he got started in his career moving up. I find it very shocking and rude to exclude a spouse from any dinner invite, let alone these circumstances. When my husband told his parents that he wouldn't go without me, his mom said, "Wow, so you guys can't even go to a celebratory dinner with his own parents, with his wife?" Guess the old saying is true, a son is a son till he takes a wife. My husband told them, "Mom, Dad, it's not about me going to dinner without Kate. It's about celebrating my promotion with my partner. We're a team, and her support is what helped get me here. Excluding her feels like you're not acknowledging that." I feel hurt and blindsided by this. We've always had a great relationship with them, and they've always included me in everything, treating us equally like a married unit on our birthdays and holidays like Christmas in general. I can't imagine my father-in-law accomplishing something huge and my husband and I offering to take just him to dinner and saying, "Oh, but mother-in-law isn't invited." It feels like they're overlooking all the sacrifices that I made, and instead of caring about my hurt feelings, they're doubling down. I could be the jerk for not directly talking to his parents myself and making my husband be the bad guy with his own parents. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, it's good that your husband is backing you up on this, and generally, you should be the one dealing with your own respective families. So since his family is the one that is causing a fuss, it is better for him to be the one to deal with them. There is a time and place for parents to celebrate with their children even after the child is married, potentially, but something as big as a promotion is generally assumed like it's something you're going to want to celebrate with your partner too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's one of those things where there are some dinners where I mean, there are some things that I disagree with OP on in regards to like, oh, you can never go to a dinner,
Yeah, I
right?
don't think I think it's fine to have a parent
Mm-hmm.
child like quality time without the spouse. I
Yeah,
don't think you always have to be joined at the hip. I think it's the significance of this
yeah.
milestone is what matters.
And that's exactly it. It seems like they're kind of ignoring that this accomplishment isn't just his alone, but also OP's as well, right? Like OP didn't do the job that he does, right? I mean, it's not like OP actually stood over their shoulder and like managed them or anything like that, but OP did help with all the support things that would have made it a lot harder for him to get to the place that he is right now.
Yeah,
And
well,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
And I was just going to say, I think that is important to acknowledge her role in this and her excitement too, right? And I mean, I think that it would be different if they were like, oh, well, we want to have a dinner with our son on XYZ day. Let's do a big celebration for this on another day. That would be, I think, a reasonable approach. But I also think, like, again, it seems like a pretty bad deal on OP's end for them to ignore, her in this regard, too. And I think that OP's right, being like, oh, if we were to invite father-in-law out and not include mother-in-law, she would be, of course, offended by that.
Yeah, and rightfully so. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really sign of a healthy relationship that OP's husband is willing to step up and be like, no, OP is, part of my support system, and this is her victory too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, too often, when someone like rises the corporate ladder or something like that and has a partner at home who is doing so much of the support work behind the scenes, we only recognize the person getting the promotion.
Yeah.
And we don't think about what it took to enable that person to be able to have that. So I think it's really healthy, a sign of a healthy relationship that OP's husband is like, yes, like, you gotta support OP too.
Yeah. But what do the comments have to say?
And so Mary says, not the jerk, but to his credit, it sounds like hubby has taken out the standard in the fight. What a narrow view for his parents to take. And then Mulder says, not the jerk, it's his celebration. Since he wants OP there, his mom is being the weird one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Speaking of being the weird one, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling a Homeowner that his daughter had a guy over while he was gone for the day?
Oh, your segue is great.
Yeah, I know. So, I'm a 35-year-old male and I work for a small landscaping company, and lately we've been doing some projects for this one house. It's a nice place with a pretty big yard. The owner, the dad, a 40s male, works long hours, and most of his time, his teenage daughter, a 17-year-old female, is usually the only one home when we are there working all day. Most of the time, the dad wasn't home. Last week, we were doing our usual stuff in the front yard. The other day, when we see this teenage boy, maybe 16 or 17, walk up the driveway with his eyes glued to his phone and walk up the front stairs and get let in the door by the daughter. I give her a confused look, and she gives me a wide-eyed glare that says, please keep this a secret from my dad. I was a teenager once, and I have a pretty good idea what was going on in there. The past few days have been in the past few days, it's been an everyday occurrence where we see this guy walk up the driveway and get let in by the daughter while the dad is gone at work, and always leaves over an hour before the dad gets home from work. Yesterday, the dad calls me, not even my boss, asking if we can move some patio furniture while we're there. While I'm on the phone, he casually asks if everything was good over there, and I froze. Froze, I tell you, froze. I didn't want to lie, and I didn't want to be the random landscaping dude covering up for his daughter. So I just said, yeah, everything's fine. Your daughter's here, and she's been having this young other boy come over for the past few days. I do not know what they are up to, but I have an idea. And then I left it at that. No tone, no judgment.
Clearly no judgment.
No judgment at all. Just the facts. He goes quiet for a second and says, really, thank you for letting me know, and then hangs up. When we were packing up, the daughter comes outside furious, saying, what is wrong with you? And that I snitched on her and that I ruined everything. I told her that I wasn't trying to get involved, but her dad asked me directly, and I wasn't going to lie to the person who pays us. Now I'm getting texts from my boss saying that the dad appreciates the honesty, but the daughter is apparently telling people that I'm a creep who spies on her. I feel like I shouldn't have gotten myself involved or said anything, but at the same time, if I were a parent, I would want to know if my daughter was secretly having boys over without me knowing. Am I the jerk for saying something and ratting out the daughter to her father? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, that was not what he was asking, and you know it. When he asked you if everything was good, he means with the job you were doing. You were not hired to be his daughter's babysitter. If you were hired to be her babysitter, sure, that's, then your job is to report what's going on. But your whole, I couldn't lie to him and I'm not judging. It's like, no, clearly you are judging and you're making a lot of assumptions. Like if you weren't spying through her window, you don't know what's going on.
Well, that's the problem I have here. Is like he's making some pretty big assumptions about what they are doing, and yeah, no, we don't know what they were doing, right? They could have been playing video games for all we know, and I mean, a lot of teens are actually holding off on intimacy for a lot longer. It's actually been shown that the intimacy rates between teens is actually increasing in age, right? So whatever, right? And the second thing is like if they are doing it hopefully in a safe place and that's a better than a car or stuff wherever, right? I mean, again, like that's my point here isn't to defend what is going on, but I do think like him painting this as though the dad asked them directly if, oh, by the way, is there a boy over there? I keep telling my daughter not to bring boys over or something like that. And then him being like, oh yeah, I don't want to lie, yeah, there's a boy over there. I think that would be different, but seeing as how he's just asking if everything was fine at the job site, OP's job site, again, wasn't the monitoring the daughter, so I really do have a feel like he said more than he needed to, so I don't know. But what do the comments have to say?
Mulder says, "You're the jerk. It's not your business." And then Mary says, "This one could have gone so wrong. What if accusations had been made? OP might be judging, but the daughter was putting OP in a precarious position."
I mean, that's fair that the daughter was putting him in a precarious position. I mean, I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair, but it sounds more like the dad was asking about this thing. Speaking of precarious positions, though. Our next letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for demanding that my son repay the car that I bought him after he totaled it in street racing?" I'm a 49-year-old male, and I helped my son, a 20-year-old male, get a car while he started college about 2 years ago. I co-signed, and I put about $12,000 down on a used but pretty reliable car. From the start, I told him that it wasn't a gift, that it was more of a loan from me to him. The idea was that once he had a job, he would start being able to pay it back monthly. And also that if he started driving like an idiot, I would take the car back. Well, last weekend, he completely totaled it. Turns out that he was doing street race stuff with some friends. The car is gone, and now insurance is pushing back because it happened during illegal activity. There is still about $8,000 left on the car loan right now, so I'm the one stuck with it. He does have a part-time job, but honestly, most of his money goes to partying and games. I told him that he needs to start paying me back, and I asked for about $300 a month until it's paid off. I also said that if he refuses, I might take him to small claims court because I don't really want to be the one paying for a car that he destroyed doing something stupid. He blew up at me and said that I'm heartless and kicking him while he's down because the accident traumatized him. He says parents are supposed to help their kids, not treat them like debtors. My ex-wife, his mom, also is on his side and says that if I didn't want the situation, I should have just given him the car to begin with. Some say that $12,000 is a lot of money and that accidents happen, so I should just let it go. But to me, the deal was clear from the start, and he broke it in a pretty big way. Am I the jerk for expecting him to stick to the deal and pay me back? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. And I love how the ex-wife's solution is, oh no, you should have just given it to him outright, and then you would still be on the hook for all the money. Like, that's not a fix. It sounds like it was made clear up front that this was a loan. And OP just wasn't collecting on it right immediately. But one of the conditions was that the the son not use it for poor decisions, not make poor decisions with it. The son was street racing. Is a very bad choice, and so I'm not gonna doubt. I'm sure the accident was traumatic and all that, but that doesn't remove his culpability. Insurance, as you're seeing, is not going to be like, oh well, you're traumatized, so yeah, we'll cover everything. Like, you make poor choices and decisions. Sometimes there are unfortunate consequences to them, and yeah.
He's lucky that all he got away with was trauma in this particular situation. I mean, street racing can cause people loss of life, and could have ended up with him in jail if he had accidentally run someone over or got someone else killed, right? So trauma is basically the least of his worries at this point in time. Not to say downplay trauma, right? But he at least has his life, and rightly so, should be traumatized by this event, and hopefully it's traumatizing enough that he doesn't go and street race again, right? Yeah, that he did something dumb. He needs to now pay back the loan that he knew that this was a loan. If he didn't want the terms of the agreement with his dad, then he could have said, no, Dad, I really don't feel comfortable taking a loan from you. I would like to buy a car on my own. I'll save up for it, right? And that would have been that. He made a bad decision, and he needs to kind of live with that bad decision at this point in time, right?
Yeah, well, and also I think that, OP offering like the $300 a month and not asking for the full amount up front is, a reasonable way to handle it.
Yeah. Well, if OP had been asking for a lot, then it would be one thing. And then again, this is a 20-year-old male. I just needed to recheck the ages here. If this had been like a 15-year-old, I would feel a little bit different about the situation.
Well, yes, certainly.
Because a 15-year-old is, still growing up, and saddling them with $12,000 or $8,000 worth of debt would be an unreasonable thing. We're talking about a 20-year-old male who is graduated, who's working part-time, who is capable of earning money. He needs to kind of go ahead and start paying off his debt. The bank wouldn't take this as a, oh, get out of jail for free thing. He can't expect his father to eat all this debt. But what do the comments have to say?
Mulder says, not the jerk. It would have been a lot worse if the son was financing the car himself. Dad is helping a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then Mary says, agree, Brian. Consequences, cut down on recidivism.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not paying for my daughter's college if she chooses the one school that I like the least? So my daughter is a senior in high school outside of Boston, and I'm from Kentucky, and I went to the University of Kentucky. And so we have visited family there a lot over the years. She applied to a bunch of schools and goes to Auburn, and got into Auburn, Fordham, Pace, FAU, Syracuse, and the University of Kentucky. She wants to study social work. The only one that I don't like is the University of Kentucky. Why? Even though I went there, it's just a school that people go to if they are from the state. And most want to stay in the state. It's mediocre. Only about 71% of the students feel safe on campus, according to recent reports. But it's the only place that she wants to go. I've told her that social work rules are state specific, and it makes a lot more sense to go to a school in a state that she wants to live in long term. She says that she wants to go to have a traditional fun college experience at a school with great sports and a big campus. And then later in life, she wants to live in New York City, live in London, and go out and travel and do all of these things. I'm worried that going to KY, she will get stuck. Everyone that I went to school with is still there. I worry that the culture isn't a right fit for her, and I've told her that people who went to live life there the way that and I've told her that the people who went to live life the way that she says, she usually doesn't choose mediocre state schools in places that are already familiar with. She should go somewhere fresh and new. So I told her that I would pay for any college in the entire country, but Kentucky, and that but in the entire college but Kentucky, and that she will have to take out loans if she goes there. She is angry and says that it's the only place that she can feel happy, and it's the only place that feels right for her. I think that she's just comfortable there because we visited so much over the years. Her mother, we are divorced, also says that it's upsetting to my daughter and that I should just give in. It's just hard for me to buy the agreement or argument that there's only one school in the entire world where she can be happy, and that the stats about it aren't that great. Well, currently, she prefers to go to KY and take out loans than go anywhere else and have me pay. I'm just worried that she's going to be 25 and think I should have made a different choice. It seems like she is thinking of this as a continuation of high school, not a start of the rest of her life. Am I being the jerk? Edit to be more clear about my reasoning. I wouldn't be against her going to KY if it matched her goals and values. Like if she said, I want to live there after college, so it's the best choice. Then I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would accept it. My problem is that she says that she wants a certain set of things out of life, and then chooses somewhere that doesn't match those things. It feels like an inauthentic choice for her, and knows our family back in Kentucky is pressuring her to do it. So again, I'm not against the school overall, it's just that based on the criteria she laid out in her decision spreadsheet, that this is not actually the best choice. But then she added a line in the spreadsheet says, do I feel it in my bones? And Kentucky was the only one with a yes. Every other school was a no. I'm arguing to her that using emotional whims isn't a great way to make such a serious life decision. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you are a major jerk. I understand you want what is best for your daughter, but you have to listen to her. She knows better than you do what is best for her. I mean, first of all, like the whole people will get licensed in whatever state they're practicing in. You can get your degree from any school you want. So the whole argument of, well, she should get her degree where she wants to practice social work, it doesn't matter where your degree is from. Lots of people get their degree in one area, move to another region, and then get licensed. And if she moves later, then she'd have to get relicensed all over again. It seems like maybe OP has some remorse for not ever getting out of Kentucky.
He's in Boston, right?
I don't know.
I thought they said that he was in Boston.
I don't remember.
Yeah, my daughter is a senior in high school outside of Boston.
Oh, okay.
So.
The OP has regrets about going to Kentucky for his college or something like that. It seems because he has a lot of negative things to say about it. And just because it wasn't the right choice for you doesn't mean it won't be the right choice for your daughter. I was so confused because I assumed they were living in Kentucky, but if this isn't even where she's from, then this argument makes even less sense.
Well, I think what happened is what OP is saying is that he was one of the few people who managed to get out of Kentucky, and that they have family there, and that he probably grew up in Kentucky. And the reason why they go back to visit is because he grew up in Kentucky. But he sees the school as a dead-end school because he sees a lot of folks who he went to school with just stay there, right? And he really wants to see his daughter succeed and feels like her going to this school would cause her not the level of success or match the goals in life that she wants to go to. I understand his sentiment here. I actually think she's not ready for college at all, and that maybe she should take a gap year and go and party if this is what she wants to do, right? Because if she's going to school just to party, and that's what it sounds like, she wants to go for the party experience. Maybe that's not the right choice. Maybe go to a community college and party yourself out there, right? But I don't know. I mean, I think that people who go to college just to party are selling themselves short in a lot of ways, right? I think that they need to understand that college is a place for you to get an education at, and it isn't a place for you to just spend the whole time partying. But again, like, I think she also has some unrealistic expectations about the amount of money social workers make, because she's talking about jet setting and traveling the world and going from here to there. And social workers, they can make some money. I'm not saying they can't, but usually it isn't enough to do like jet setting and a lot of travel unless you're very good with your money. So I don't know. I think that she is young, and she's also going to make mistakes in life, and that's certainly up to her to do, right? And I think that all OP can do at this point in time is do his best to guide and direct her and give her the best advice as possible. But since OP agreed to pay for her college in full if she got in somewhere, and didn't specify ahead of time that Kentucky was off limits, that he should pay because this is what he agreed to do, right?
Well, and I mean, I think there's something important here. If she's willing to take out loans to go to Kentucky,
Yeah.
when she could have the school paid for her. Like, I went to UMaine, and I have zero regrets there. It was a great school. It was the right school for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had been in a position where I would have had to take out loans to go to UMaine, but could have gone somewhere else for free, and I only applied to UMaine, so this wouldn't have happened. But I didn't know what I would do if I didn't have a full ride scholarship. I was
Mm-hmm.
writing on it. I would probably have packed up and gone elsewhere just so I wouldn't have the debt. And this is from someone who I grew up right next to UMaine. I loved the campus. I'm very thankful I got to go to school there. The fact that she is willing to saddle herself with debt to go to Kentucky, I mean, if Opie doesn't want to set her back in life, the last thing he should do is saddle her with all kinds of debt. So,
Mm-hmm.
especially where he knows she wants to go to college to party.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, again, they need to have a sit down and have a heart to heart. I don't think he should be holding the money over her head or, forcing her to go to a school that he wants her to go to. I think that it's just going to be a recipe for disaster. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary says this is a dangerous promise for Opie to make. There are tons of party schools out there, and
Yeah.
now Opie has promised any school but Kentucky.
Yeah.
Walter says, I see the sentiment behind it, but I don't think it's the move.
Yeah.
Here's all this experience and perspective. How do I communicate this? Oh, I know, holding money over her head.
Yeah. Not a good look for OP. Speaking of not a good look, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Sister-in-Law to Tone It Down with the Flower Girl Stuff? My sister-in-law, Jules, a 30-year-old female, is getting married later this year. There are a lot of kids in the family, 8 between ages 5 and 16. So, when she and her fiancé decided on the bridal party, the big roles like flower girl and the ring bearer went to the 3 youngest, my nephew, an 8-year-old male, and niece, a 6-year-old female, and my youngest daughter, a 5-year-old female. My older daughter, an 11-year-old female, doesn't have a part to do, but our nephews, males, ages 12 to 16, were then later asked to be ushers. Jules is someone who likes to go all out. She didn't just ask my daughter, and she didn't ask just my daughter and her cousin to be the flower girl. She gave them each a "Will you be my flower girl" present, which was like a Build-A-Bear stuffy in a wedding dress. She had this big day out to go out and get lunch and go shopping for dresses. And they're planning a DIY night where they can decorate the flower girl baskets and the ring bearer pillow. It's sweet, but my older daughter feels left out. She wasn't invited on the shopping trip or any of the extra activities. I know that she's jealous, and whenever I try to suggest that we do, it just isn't enough, or she doesn't want to go do it. It's just with her mom, me. The older boys are doing their own thing. I know that it's not my job to spare her feelings, but I asked Jules if she can pump the brakes and tone down on the flower girl stuff because it's leaving her older niece out. She wasn't too receptive and said that she doesn't want to stop because the younger kids are having fun. And my mother-in-law said the same thing, that it's not Jules' responsibility to make the older daughter feel better about herself. It's my own, but it's hard when she doesn't want to do anything with me, even when I try. The general mood in the family is that I need to butt out and handle it myself because it's not Jules' problem that my daughter feels this way. Just in case, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. There is one child out of 8 who is being excluded. If it was just the littles, then I would feel a little differently. But the fact that there is only one child who is being left out of this, it feels very deliberate, and that I would understand. I mean, I can't understand if you have one kid out of 8, but that maybe it slipped her mind initially. But the fact that like she just doubled down and is like, no, I don't want to stop because the younger ones are having fun. Like, honestly, if I were OP, I would pull my younger daughter from flower girl duties at this point in time. I would say if you are going to be like, first of all, you can hold her back from any non-essential activities, even if you want her in the wedding. You can say, we're not doing the baskets and all this stuff. Like, but I think at this point in time, I would just pull the kids from the wedding and say, if you're gonna leave out only one kid out of 8, this is Jules's problem. Like, she is the one who chose to exclude only one child, and she needs a reality check that it is not a kind and loving thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest issue is that it's just one kid, and I think that it's going to breed resentment and it's going to breed some, jealousy, and that's really understandable. Kids get jealous, and kids, feel left out, and that's, part of being an adult is helping kids navigate those feelings. And OP's doing the best that they can, but I think that Jules is also being a little insensitive here, and playing it up and everything like that, especially when the daughter feels so left out on things, and that's really unfortunate. I really hope that Jules eventually sees what she's doing is kind of damaging, and it's clear that the daughter wants a role in this wedding, and I don't know how they really should manufacture a role for her so that she can feel included in this as well.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
could have been one of the ushers too. That doesn't have to be purely boys, or they
Mm-hmm.
could have made her a junior bridesmaid or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
You know,
But what do the comments have to say?
I don't see any comments.
No comments yet. Speaking of no comments, I guess we were too fast with our go through here. We have to wait a second to see if anyone else writes. If not, that's not a big deal. Uh,
Mulder says, easy solution. Find a role for the older kid and do something to make it feel special.
yeah. I mean, I think that's about it. Oh, and then Mary just replied.
Heartbreaking. Hopefully, daughter will open up to, my screen's, to some makeup mom/daughter time once the hurt subsides.
I hope so. I hope so. Speaking of when the hurt subsides, our next letter is titled, Will I be a jerk if I ask my girlfriend to return the AirPods, which she will gift me, and buy something else cheaper? So here's the deal. I'm all about finding good deals, and I really don't like purchasing stuff for full price, and my girlfriend knows that. So I've been looking to buy AirPods for A and C, but I needed them to be $100 to justify the purchase. They were this price on BF. I don't know what BF is. And my girlfriend saw that I constantly Googled them and asked if I wanted them as a birthday gift, and I said as long as you can find them for a discount price. Now I see the package from Target, and weight-wise, it's really similar to what AirPods would weigh, plus a small size box. And then I checked Target's website, and they are $179 on there. So will I be the jerk if I ask her to return them and buy something else cheaper? Many sell for $149 now, which is still ridiculous price when they were $120 a couple of weeks ago. It's just later every time I will be using them, and I will be thinking that they were bought for the full price. And I almost have none of the items that I use that were paid for MSRP price. P.S. Part of this post is to convince me that my brain is just broken and that I'm unreasonable and stupid. So, would like to hear your thoughts. Also, sorry for my English. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, Opie, I think therapy would be a good tool for you in this situation, so you can work on why you have these need to always have something bought for less than full price. Like, I understand wanting to find discounts, but there gets to be a certain point where it's unhealthy. And when you are Googling the price of whatever everyone buys you, and then you're going to feel bad or, frustrated if it is the full price and you're going to think about that every time you have it, that's not a healthy mindset. So in this particular case, you haven't seen the receipt. So I would just, you know, you don't know for sure she didn't use a coupon or rewards or something like that. So I would not ask her to return it. It would tell yourself anytime if you have that intrusive thought that you don't actually know how much you bought it for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that the price doesn't matter. What matters is that it was gifted to you by someone who loves you. And again, if those intrusive thoughts are really stopping your enjoyment, then that might be the time to talk to someone, talk to a trained professional who can help give you some because I'm not an expert. I don't know the exact self-talk that can help you manage these thoughts, but they may be able to give you some self-talk and some ways to mitigate the intrusive thoughts.
So I think that OP is reading way too much into this. A lot of places like Target will have price matching, and so there's not even a guarantee that she ended up paying full price for this, because it could just be that she was like, oh, here, I'll show price matching and blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that works online. It may not work at all, but maybe she found it on sale when he wasn't looking, and he just can't possibly know unless he looks at her emails. And so while he might think that she bought it at full price, there's no way of guaranteeing that whatsoever. And also, gifts are meant for you to enjoy, and you can't be looking at the price of gifts, right? There are some things that are priceless that people make, and there are some things that people buy and they want you to enjoy them. And I think that what's really important about a gift is that somebody thought of you and wanted you to enjoy it, and they thought that this was something that you would be able to use and that you wouldn't be getting for yourself. And in that respect, it's a perfect gift, right? Like, if you're trying to pull the trigger on buying something and someone gives it to you as a gift, then that's basically the best of all worlds in that respect. So I think that OP should just appreciate the gift and move on. Well, what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, OP, take one from the team and allow your girlfriend to choose how she treats you. And then Walter says, no jerks, your $179 isn't necessarily the same as someone else's $179. It's not bad to find discounts, but you can't make other people shop the way you do.
Exactly. And our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Sending a Mean Text to a Guy That Has a Crush on Me? How mean could OP possibly be? We'll find out in a moment. So, hi. For context, I'm a 21-year-old female, and I have a guy that I'm seeing who's 23. This happened about 2 weeks ago, and I posted on my Instagram story. It was my birthday in a few days, and I was excited for my party. This guy, who I'm casual friends with, DM'd me and asked if he could come. I feel bad, but I told him no because it was only going to be family. He kept asking me over and over and over again to come, and I kept telling him no, sorry. He asked at least 10 times, and I said no 10 times. He's not being dramatic. He's legit asked 10 times. He asked me if my boyfriend was going, and I said yes because he was like family. He got more upset and asked if he could hang out with me on the weekend, and I said no, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend. He then again asked if we could hang out, and I kept saying no. I did feel bad, but I didn't want him to come, and I didn't want to hang out with him. I knew this guy from school, and we were friends, but he can kind of be weird, and I knew he liked me already before because he told me that he loved me. So I kind of distanced myself from him since then. It got to the point where he was asking me so much that I felt like I couldn't say no, so my boyfriend took my phone and took a selfie and sent it to him with the caption, "She's a little busy, bro." It was funny, and my boyfriend took a photo of the photo and sent it to his friends. The guys finally stopped texting me. I started feeling bad that maybe I should have let him come to my birthday even though it was just family. I told my family about it, and they told me that I was bullying him and that I should have just done that, and it was mean to be laughing at him for having a crush on me. I think that I might have been the jerk on this, but the other part of me is saying that it's justified because he invited himself. I didn't take no for an answer, and I had to invoke my boyfriend's name 3 times, and he only stopped once my boyfriend sent that. I did feel mean to do that, though, so please give me your judgment. Am I the jerk here? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. OP, I would recommend blocking this man. He clearly does not respect your boundaries and cannot take no for an answer. You should not have, like, it sounds like he wanted to wear you down. He kept asking and asking and asking
Mm-hmm.
with the intention of finding it in. That is not okay. That is not someone you want in your life. So, shutting him down, whatever it means, I don't think anything you did was horrible and out of line.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's going to not listen to you but will listen to your boyfriend, it shuts him down. And also, I think it's very telling about what kind of a person he is if he doesn't listen when a woman is talking, only listens when it's a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that letting him come would give the wrong impression and lead him on. I think that OP has been very clear about their feelings with him. They've distanced themselves. He's still pursuing her. He needs to know that an OP is unavailable. If OP were to invite him along, he would think he has a chance. He needs to know that he does not have a chance, that OP is not interested in him, and that's really what it boils down to. I mean, while OP may feel mean right now, he needs to move on and find other fish in the sea. What do the comments have to say?
Mulder says, no, you said, not the jerk, you said no already. And then Mary says, not the jerk, to let him come would, in this poor kid's mind, be the same as leading him on.
Mm-hmm.
The she's busy, bro, was not mean. Discouraging, yeah, but not mean.
Exactly, exactly. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, and we're going to have to wrap up here soon, but I've got a couple stories here that are more light for the end of everything. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Bringing Fragrant Lunches to the Office Every Time My Boss Forces Us to Work Weekends? So I'm a 29-year-old male, and manager has this annoying habit of announcing mandatory collaborative Saturdays at the last possible minute, usually Friday at 4 p.m. We aren't an emergency service, we're a mid-sized marketing agency. The world won't end if we finish the spreadsheets on Monday. Last time he did this, I decided that if my weekend was going to be ruined, the office environment should reflect that. So I went to the local market and I bought some dried fish, particularly stinky fermented cabbage, and around 12:30 p.m., when the whole team was stuck in the open space, I popped my lunch into the microwave for a solid 3 minutes. The smell was potent. It reached the corner office in record time. He came out, looked green, and asked who was cooking death in the break room. I just smelled and said I need the protein and extra brain power. Now he's hinting at a new policy regarding aromatic foods. And some of my coworkers, who also suffered, think that I was being a petty buttface. I think that if he wants a professional, pleasant office on Saturday, he should respect our contracts. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, just go to your HR department. Like, you are not hurting the people that you are intending to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, it also reached him, but you have all these coworkers who have been forced to sit in this office who are now suffering because of this.
Yeah.
If he is violating your contracts, then that is a problem. Like, he cannot mandate you to be there beyond your working hours. And announcing at 4 p.m. on a Friday in a managing job where like last minute shifts aren't really a thing, it sounds like it probably is a violation of your employment. So just go to HR and have them deal with it.
Yeah. Sometimes in work, there's going to be emergency situations where you have to come in on the weekend. Plain and simple. Sometimes that happens. However, this doesn't sound like an emergency. It doesn't sound like the world is collapsing or that, everything is going to be, bad for them the next week, or that their share price is going to drop by 20% or any of those kinds of things here. So I agree with Amber. Take it to HR. Are there any comments yet?
Not yet.
All right. We'll move on. This is another work-related one. So speaking of bad work environments, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for using a song as a joke at work? And, the boss should supply a complimentary lunch for a mandatory collaboration. Then he can be in charge of the aroma. I agree, Mary. That's a great comment. I like that one a lot. So 6 months ago, a new colleague called Scott joined our team. As someone who grew up around the time of the movie Euro Trip, I am automatically thought of Scotty Doesn't Know. I made the reference jokingly and a couple of times to him, and he seemed to laugh it off without really saying much. Everyone in our team thought it was funny, and everyone would join in saying things like, "Oh, don't tell Scotty." whenever he mentioned his girlfriend, which he seemed to take in good enough humor. So eventually, I thought that it would be funny to set the song Scotty Doesn't Know as my ringtone on my work phone for every time he called. Again, everyone seemed to think that this was acceptable and funny. It always got laughs every time he rang. Anyhow, somehow it got back to him, and he decided to take it really personally and went to HR. Didn't even say to all of us that he didn't find it funny. Unfortunately, they have done an investigation and decided that I'm the sole perpetrator. They've taken very harsh line and have let me go for gross misconduct, accusing me of targeting sexual harassment, which I think is ridiculously unfair. I initially went to HR sub for advice, but got absolutely flayed alive over there and called a total jerk. But I don't get how. It's just a fun reference to a stupid movie. So am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're the jerk. Now, I have never seen Eurotrip. I don't know this song, but this was getting to a point of, from what I understand from reading the comments, is that it's a very inappropriate song.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, it's always questionable when you're making references to inappropriate things in a work environment, but to make this basically his entire personality, so like everyone in the office is associating him with this song. Anytime anything happens, I mean, you set your ringtone to this song.
Yeah, so I mean, the point of the song is basically that the person who's singing it is cheating on Scotty, cheating with Scotty's girlfriend, right? And so, I mean, I can understand one time might have been funny, but I'm sure Scott has heard this joke more times than they care for, and OP is creating a hostile work environment. You have to kind of think about how that's going to come across. And like maybe making the joke once still would probably be inappropriate and still be in poor taste, but at least it wouldn't be a constant total harassment of him and making a hostile work environment. Now everyone knows not to make the joke about Scotty. Scotty sure does know at this point in time. What do the comments have to say?
Mulder says, "Oh, I've heard this one already. You're the jerk. This is a horrible in taste and overdone." And Mary says, "You're the jerk. Yeah, I've never seen the movie either. OP, life is filled with lessons about appropriate behavior. This is one."
And another work-related one, and then we'll go into tea time, and then we'll read one last story. All right, folks, on our next letter is titled, "Today I messed up by building an app to track how many times my coworker says circling back in meetings. Now the whole office uses it. So there's this guy at work, we'll call him K. K says circling back constantly in every meeting, sometimes twice in the same sentence. So circling back on that just before we circle back to the main point. I started noticing it maybe 4 months ago, and now I cannot unhear it. It has ruined meetings for me entirely. So as a joke, purely for my own amusement, I vibe coded a mini web API app in 10 minutes. And every time K says circling back, I tap the screen. It tracks daily counts, shows me a weekly graph, and gives me a personal best notification. I showed 2 colleagues, which was a mistake. They immediately wanted to use it too, so I shared the link, not a big deal. Well, within 2 days, there were 9 of us silently tapping our phone every time K spoke. We have a group chat now, and someone made a weekly leaderboard for the highest count. Someone else added a feature request for it to be honest. Because apparently Kate from Finance says 11 times in a meeting and felt left out. Recently, Kay said circling back 23 times in a 56 meeting sync, and we nearly lost it. Someone had a fake coughing fit. The problem is, now I look forward to meetings like genuinely. I check in the group chat during calls. We celebrate new personal bests. Kay says circling back at 9:07 a.m. yesterday, and I got 3 notifications within seconds. I built an app to cope with an annoying habit and accidentally made meetings the best part of my workday. Kay will never know. I feel both terrible and completely at peace with this. Would love to add screenshots, but seems like this sub doesn't allow that. All right, folks, what do you think?
You know what they say, 2 can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that Kay will not know when there are 9 of you who are using this app.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I understand the annoyance, but like, this is not a very nice thing to do to someone, and Kay is going to be very hurt when this comes out if you don't shut it down now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing here is that this is not going to stay secret for very long. It's going to get back. It's going to get back to him, and he is going to know about it. And maybe he's a good-humored individual who will take it very kindly. But maybe he's like Scotty from the last story, where he's going to look at this not with amusement, but being offended, and, rightly so, take it to HR. And they're going to do an investigation, and OP is probably going to get fired for harassment, right?
And then
So,
OP can cycle back to the unemployment line.
yeah. So I think that this is circle back to the unemployment line. Yes, exactly. I think that OP needs to apologize, to their colleagues, say that this got out of hand, that they weren't trying to cause this whole thing, and basically move on from there and delete the app as soon as possible. I think that if they want to keep their job, that might be the best course of action at this point in time. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, my youngest one's pointed out, Mom, you've said sounds like 10 times in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. We all have our quirky language, and sometimes it takes some time for us to even hear what we're saying. I know I have my own quirky language. I have to edit videos and hear my repetitive language. So, yeah, but it's only repetitive because I hear it constantly replayed back, right? Yeah, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke from her joke book.
What did you hear about the angry gymnast?
I did hear about the angry gymnast. It was a tragedy. They got very, very, very angry. And the reason why they got angry is for the weirdest of reasons. They got angry at the herons, the birds, right? Like the herons, they came along and they stole the gymnast's gym equipment. And you might be like, well, how would herons steal gym equipment? Well, very carefully, if you have a flock of 1,000 herons, they apparently can do many things that you would not expect them to do. Coordinated heron assaults? Not something that the gymnast was expecting out of their Monday. But now they're left without any gym equipment, and that's why they're angry.
She just flipped.
She flipped because the 1,000 herons took her equipment.
And we're gonna finish our poll.
Oh, we do need to finish our poll. Let's do that real quick. It's end the poll, share the results, and say this. What is your favorite part of spring? The flowers and the warmth and other. No one likes butterflies.
I do. I picked other because I like the warmth and the butterflies and the flowers. I couldn't pick. I wanted to pick butterflies, but I was like, but I really do like getting out of winter and actually feeling sun on my face. So
yeah.
I couldn't pick just one, but I love butterflies.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like the warmth probably the best out of spring, so I'll tip the vote there. Say warmth. It was a pretty good one, a pretty good joke, and I actually have Earl Grey tonight. Not make a mint, Mary. No, not many butterflies in Vegas.
We don't have any right now in Maine, but I'm looking forward to April because that's usually when we start to see some.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, oops, wrong screen here. Speaking of seeing things that you can't believe, our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up, Pix or It Didn't Happen? For years, I've been saying Pix or It Didn't Happen. For a good 3 years, I was saying Pixar didn't happen. And I only found out because I decided to ask my sister what everyone's beef with Pixar was. Not only that, but I didn't even know what context people were using it, so, being young and dumb, I would just randomly say Pixar didn't happen in conversation, thinking that it was just a cool thing that people said. Could you imagine someone talking about something, how their favorite color is pink, and some rando just goes, haha, Pixar didn't happen? After the conversation, like, what in the world? My friends and family literally let me say that for 3 full years of my life without questioning why or correcting me. All right, folks, what do you think of that?
I mean, it's a funny story, I mean, I don't know why no one let Opie in on it, but they could have just heard them saying Pix or it didn't happen and just like thought they were rushing.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that we're quirky people and sometimes say quirky things, and that's perfectly fine. And it's all right to be mistaken, and it's all right to say things when you don't know the full story behind it.
Well, I
Like,
feel like we all have some kind of
yeah,
colloquialism that we heard as a kid or heard at some point in time and didn't hear it right.
yeah.
Like I'm trying, I know I've done this before, but I can't think of with what.
Well, for me, the biggest one was that I used to read the uh, Nintendo Game Boy had dot matrix with stereo sound written across the top of it, but I would read it as "don't mix with sunlight," right? And I have no idea. Well, I know why I said read it as that because one, I'm dyslexic, right? And so like sometimes my dyslexic brain just misreads things. But because I would been like my dad said, "Oh, don't put it in the sunlight because it can help to degrade the color, not the color, but the pixels on it or something like that." And so I just was like, oh, it says don't mix with sunlight, right? Instead of understanding that it says dot matrix with stereo sound. But I mean, as a kid, I mean, I was only like 8 or 9 at the time, and so a dot matrix with stereo sound doesn't even make any much sense to a kid. And so I think really what it kind of boiled down to is like I made sense of it where I could, because like what is even dot matrix to like an 8-year-old, right? Like it's a doesn't mean anything, right? It may as well be don't mix with sunlight. uh but yeah, what do the comments have to say?
Mary says cute, and then Mulder says there's no Pixar in. Wait, hold on, wrong company or platform. There is no Pixar. DVD bends.
Yeah, but I think that's the end of the road, folks. That's all we got for the stuff here. So thanks for dropping by. We had a good time. That's all the time we have for today. That's the long way of me saying that. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Malter. Thanks, Tuesday, if you're still out there. And Marsha, if you're still out there. And thank you to everyone who joined us today.
Yes,
So,
it was
yeah.
a lot of fun. Got a little baby Mothman over here joined us too, even though you can't see them because they're off camera.
Yes, Amber has her little Mothman. They are there listening in on the conversations. So, and picking that their favorite part of the of spring is butterflies so that they can eat them.
See, no, Mothman does not eat butterflies.
So, thanks to everybody. We have another live stream coming up. We'll probably be doing it on April 24th in a month or so. So, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, thank you, Mary, for joining us. It's the highlight of our month too, so thanks for joining us. I'll stand around here and I'll pretend to juggle. I'll do some kind of thing while people file out. I'll be like the usher of the video here. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to Costco. We love you, or something like that. That's from like Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. We'll see you all later, folks. Thank you for joining us.